people and the workshop. Thank you. So this is a quick wrap up for the breakout rooms and for the workshop altogether. We will keep the GatherTown link open so you can continue mingle and talk as you wish. The official workshop time ends with this wrap up, so you won't be asked to come back to Zoom or anything like that after this. But we would like to hear from the breakout rooms that were active today. I have seen 2 groups. So I'm going to call on those groups, but if there is anybody else that had breakout discussions that I haven't caught, please raise your hand as well. And we would love to hear from everybody that had a breakout discussion. But for the rooms that I have identified, Dragana, you were the one that answered to my call of preparing something for your breakout room. Is it you or is it somebody else?
It's both of us. So I can start, and then Anjaka can pop in. So as we said this morning, we have minutes that we just kept filling in, and they will be open. And I invite everyone who were contributing to the discussion to add their comments for later on. So for further, usage later. So in our room, Angelika started again with presenting another, user case shortly, which is basically for another case of artificially generated AGN light curves, but using the OPSIM cadences for deep drilling fields, basically. And then this was followed with some discussion interaction, basically more about what sort of details the light curves had in terms of length and cadences and so on. And then we explained again briefly the methods and used in our algorithm and provided the links. And there was like a further basically discussion about more in the direction of whether the tool has been tested on different type of light curves in terms of both from different objects, but also with different properties, for example, different amplitudes or light curves with modulation, because the stellar variability group is very much interested in testing it on light curves with modulation for the pulsating stars. And so there was a discussion in that direction, and what was the main conclusion is that so far we were mostly focused on testing AGN light curves, but some of them show this similar properties in terms of like different amplitudes and different dynamics and really different properties. But the next step is definitely testing this on stellar light curves. So that was
excellent. Thank you very much. Anybody from the room? Angelika, do you want to add anything?
Thank you, Federica. Thank you, Dragana, for a nice summary. And I would like to thank to all presented people for input, for really nice comments, to Vittorio, Massimo, Claudia, Nina, as a broker, rising up this question about the stellar light curves. And what is interesting, we found that cadences we found nice for photoreverberation mapping of supermassive black holes are also really nice for detecting periods. So on this level of investigation. Right. So thank you so much once again to all. And I hope that we can get as much as possible different type of light curves for testing further the pipeline. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Who's reporting for the other breakout room? I know Lovro, Yanis, Marcus were there.
Yeah, I guess that's me. I try to keep notes, but I'm very bad at keeping notes because I have only a single core machine in my head. So hopefully Alex, Marcus, and Yanis can fill all the gaps that I will leave. So there were basically 3 questions that were asked. So first one was about the kind of photometry that will be provided by the brokers, and the conclusion is that this will depend on the broker, what exactly a given broker will be providing, but in principle, we should be able to put the new data points that were released after the data release or that were ingested from the broker on the same photometric system as the data release. So this should work okay. Then the second question was related to the hardware on which the dash and the OPM would be running. So we have been discussing the hardware with Tomislav for quite a while now, but Tomislav is providing an HPC resource which is not really fit for a web service. So we were thinking about all the options where we could actually run the front end that is going to be accessed by the users. And we sort of touched the subject on perhaps applying jointly for a grant that would provide, that would allow us to buy some CPU time and storage and bandwidth somewhere in the cloud. Sorry?
No, that's great.
Okay, that would allow us to do this and then do some sort of mirror of the light IDEC that Bura is providing and do the lightweight computation in the cloud and the heavier stuff on Bura, because this is really what Bura is suited for. And then we started discussing about fitting. So if users want to fit stuff on this portal, then we should be probably able to provide them an interface for that. But it's too early actually to tell exactly what kind of form or shape this should take. But we concluded that our job is in principle not to develop the fitting the models that are being used by the users. They should be able to provide their own models, whereas we should be just the ones that are actually plotting the results and launching or executing those fitting procedures on the HPC. And that's all I have written down. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much.
If anybody wants to fill in anything, please do.
Goes in 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Any other breakout rooms that I have not seen on the map? On account of I couldn't zoom out fully because that's not a feature that GatherTown provides yet. Great. That's a wrap for the official works of this workshop. Like I said, please feel free to head back to GatherTown to continue your discussions. Input on how this worked out and whether it was useful and how we can modify the format of the workshop for thinking of the next workshop is absolutely super welcome and encouraged. Wait for a workshop in the fall. We'll have 2 to 3 workshops a year for software, for TVS software. In the meantime, keep an eye out for the PCW and all the activities that will be workshop relevant at the PCW. And a reminder that we wanted to, we discussed some sessions that we could propose for the PCW and that there is a post on community to propose these sessions. I strongly encourage you to do so. And if you want to talk to myself or Rachel before you do that, please go ahead. Lovro, I saw your hand going up and then going down.
Yes, I was just wondering, was there an official announcement of the PCW?
The PCW dates, yes, there is an announcement and they've been set since last year. So it's the top of my head is always very risky, but I think August 8th through the 12th. No. Yes.
No, 12. Yes. Okay.
Rachel said yes, and she's much better at these things than I am. So I will trust her blindly. 8th through the 12th. And, and like we discussed at the TVS meeting, we'll try to get some clarity about how much of it is accessible online. The workshop this year will be in person in Tucson, but we'll talk to the SOC and see what will be the accessibility for remote participants.
So there is no official registration yet or anything?
No, I don't think we released the registration yet. I think we'll release the registration when we have I'm saying we because I am actually on the SOC, when we have a clear idea about the schedule, because it kind of just makes sense to wait until you have an agenda, like a proper agenda of plenaries, etc., to open the registration. Otherwise, you just get a lot of questions about like what's actually going to be in the meeting by people. But it should be forthcoming relatively soon. Well, pretty soon because it's May, so it should be forthcoming. And actually, perhaps while we're talking about it, a reminder that there is an LSSD Corporation Enabling Science grant with a deadline sometimes in May that I don't remember when, but not in, in a relatively short term, to support travel for students, both undergraduates and graduates that work on LSSD related projects to go to the PCW, and that will support their local expenses. So please keep an eye out on that if you're thinking about the PCW. Rach?
I just want to say thank you to those who have shared notes from the breakout sessions with me so far. I will post them all to the meeting website so that all the content is accessible to everybody. Please feel free to keep them coming. If you have notes that you've not sent me, go ahead and send them to me as soon as you can. That would be great. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Federica for organizing this and guiding us through all these sessions. I think you've done a great job. So well done.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your contributions very much and your attention and your patience with what I think was less smooth than Rachel made it sound, but thank you again. And we'll see you all on the other side at the next TVS or subgroup or general or task force meeting. See you all. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for organizing. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
For your feedback as well. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.